So Mike Moses Kennedy, you gotta check this out. Look at this guy. He's built in an underground cabin. Underneath, and the tree stump is gonna be the entrance. Look at this guy. He's a lunatic. Built a log cabin underground. Like, this guy's gonna be fine if all hell breaks loose, right? I'm screwed. I mentioned that last night at a show I did in Milton. I went to Milton, everybody. Isn't that exciting? I've now performed in Milton, the farthest north I've ever performed in Rock County, Wisconsin. Look at this though. This is amazing. Michael distributes these fragments around and then he does something else. Yeah. This technique, historically used by forest tribes, partisans, and early settlers, relies on material continuity. Oh. Next together sheets of fallen bark from long dead trunks scattered through the clearing. Okay. Bark is one of the most effective camouflage materials in primitive architecture. Bark is, okay. All right. Its layered structure breaks up outlines and its colors match the surrounding trees. Thanks to its natural irregularities, it makes it almost impossible for the human eye to distinguish it from the ground. Once the bark layer is complete, he spreads excavated earth back over the structure. Finally, Michael completes the camouflage with forest debris, dried leaves, and fresh vegetation trimmed from nearby saplings. Before, as you saw, Michael cut out a thick section of the fallen trunk, which will now serve as the entrance lid. Wow. It must operate as a disguised hatch, strong enough to bear weight, subtle enough to blend into the forest floor. Jesus Christ. Still, it must also be practical enough to open and close repeatedly without degrading. Oh my God. The cords wrap the frame in a continuous circumferential loop. I went to college. So that the entire, I couldn't even read that. It's embarrassing, my THC soda. He gathers fresh moss and woodland debris and packs it tightly across the sapling grid, which also performs perfectly as a thermal unit. Oh, once the shelter is structurally finished, the real test begins when Michael climbs down the wooden ladder. Okay. Wow. Okay. The first thing he does is tune the interior, refining the bed to get a more comfortable experience. So sleeping on grass. Next, he moves to the recessed firebox he carved earlier into the wall. A few careful sparks and kindling are enough to bring the stove to life. Yeah, he built a stove underground too, with like an opening out the side. Oh, the flame catches in the hallowed log and quickly turns the clay-lined chamber into a compact radiant heater. It's got a little table there. As the fire grows, the walls start to glow in warm orange light, absorbed and re-emitted by the moss. Jesus Christ, unbelievable. He drags the log table he made from bundle rounds next to the stove. He did it first as a side table and then as a proper kitchen surface. I couldn't even make the log table. I tried to make a table. I had a table once that I made, I guess. I could make a log table, I'm sure. The log wall is packed with moss. Add an insulating layer that traps warm air from the stove and reduces drafts. Meanwhile, the low ceiling minimizes the volume that needs to be heated. This guy's a genius. The hidden entrance through the hollow stump keeps cold wind from blowing directly into the living area. Yeah. Thus, it works like a primitive airlock. This guy's, oh my god, this is so cool. See what you can do with your life? Warm air tends to stay down in the main chamber while smoke and excess heat can gradually drift up. From ground level, the shelter looks like nothing more than a fallen tree and a mossy stump, making it difficult to spot from a distance. Yeah, let's look at it again from outside. It's unbelievable. That kind of camouflage has obvious survival benefits today, but it also echoes a long history of people hiding homes underground. Yeah. For instance, as we said, we found a great example of this in the Slavic dugouts. I can't say it. Tim Lincoln dugouts? I guess you had to do what you got to do. Partisans and villagers once overwintered using World War I frontline dugouts to escape artillery and weather. Huh. I can't even read. Also, there are the semi-buried turf houses of Northern Europe that blended almost seamlessly into the hills. Yeah, you gotta have a little bit of a hill. Probably. Find a big tree. We can even find more curious cousins if we scratch the history a little. That's crazy. I would live there. Yeah. No one knows you're there. That's great. I would live underground. Sure. I live underground right now. As long as you can get out from underground every once in a while. You got to get up to the earth. Yeah. You can't just live underground. In my perspective, you can't just live underground. That's my tip for now. For the time being, I think we should still be living above ground. But when the asteroid comes, possibly in 2032, or there's a 1.5% chance that it's going to come in 2032, which is kind of enough for me. And the one in 2029, I think, Apophis. I think that's how you say it, Apophis. That one is going to come within 19,000 miles. It's going to come within the satellite, so we'll be able to see that thing. That's going to be huge. Okay. Thanks for watching my little video. Maybe we can build a cabin together when the world hits the shit hits the fan. When the world wakes up to the fact that we're being led by pedophiles and pedophile protectors.